What if there was a safe space for you to explore artificial intelligence? What if there was a team of friendly professionals waiting to help you examine what you can do with AI in your courses? Welcome to the world of what if. Good morning, everybody in the room. Good morning, virtual players online, and welcome to FAU's AI Playground. We want to thank you for spending time with us today. This is a very special and momentous occasion for us. Why? Glad you asked. Because this marks our 1-year anniversary of doing AI Playgrounds. It has been such an amazing journey. We have gone through so many things, done so much, and learned so much with you. The beauty of a playground is we don't come in as experts and know everything. Actually, you come to us, both virtually and face-to-face, and you ask questions, and we find answers together. And over the past year, we looked at a lot of things, and I just wanted to take a couple of minutes to reflect on what we have done before we say thank you and close the door on the old year and open up a whole new way that we're going to start approaching this. So, things that we've looked at in the past year, a couple of highlights. Number one, we looked at generative AI dealing with text, graphics, video. We had things like Copilot, which if you go to fau.edu/AI, this is Florida Atlantic's official site for all things in our AI initiative. And you will find that Copilot is the chosen tool, the large language model that we are using that this university has set up for all faculty, staff, and students. The beauty of Copilot, it is what we call a walled garden. So it is a safe space for you to experiment and be productive without worrying about your information going out and training the larger model. So it's a safe place to work. Copilot, when it was first launched, was a tool that you would talk to on the side, ask different things, try to pull things together, and see what it could do for you. Now, a year later, Copilot is very clearly getting integrated into Office 365, into Word, Excel, PowerPoint, etc., and you're finding more synergy there. That's happened over the past year. Another tool, whenever we say AI, one of the things that became a face of the tool, of the concept, is ChatGPT. A year ago, we were in ChatGPT 4, and we were able to use it like Google sometimes, even though it's not really just a search engine, it's actually creating things. But we would ask questions, it would give answers, we would try things, and we found that ChatGPT 4 was friendly, like very friendly. And it was very optimistic, to the point sometimes that you may give it a bad idea and it goes, that's a brilliant idea. And that's not always the best case or give you the best results. So now with ChatGPT 5, where we are now a year later, we have a tool that you can customize the personality. How flattering do you want it to be versus I need just the hard facts. I'm doing data analytics. I don't need all of those adverbs and adjectives telling me how beautiful my extracting pi out to the 7th digit is. We also have, with ChatGPT 5, multiple models that will actually allow us to decide when we want to do deep research versus we want to get quick answers. One other tool we discovered was Notebook LM. This is a tool that came out of Google. Originally, when Notebook LM came out, you could take a PDF, put it into Notebook LM, maybe a web page, and it would use that as a source, and everything that you did would come from the sources you gave it. Unlike ChatGPT, which sources all of its training and the internet, Notebook LM would only pull data from the PDF you gave it. So you could ask questions, get summaries, everything else you need. What happened now with the new version of Notebook LM, number one, we actually have a phone app for it now. There's an app for Notebook LM. You don't have to always go to the web page. Number two, not only can you load in Word files, PDF files, websites, you can load in YouTube videos. It will go and make a transcript of the video, study that, and break down things and give you summaries. Both in the old and the new version of Notebook LM, you can do the infamous audio overview, where you click a button and it actively generates for you a podcast-styled discussion of the material that you put in. It's not reading the material to you, it's actually discussing the material. Also in the latest version, something that's now a year later, you can go into Notebook LM and say, I'm looking for sources for my research. You don't have to come in with sources already. You could say, I'm looking for information on this topic. It will go find for you web pages, articles, research articles, news articles, links, videos sometimes, of those things that you can bring in as your sources to move forward when you're gathering information. So even the video tools have gone from, we can give you maybe 3 seconds or 5 seconds of video from your prompt, to we can give you that, and now we can faithfully recreate those same images so your characters look the same all the way through, and we can help you with the stitching of these things together to make a finished product. Like they used to say in the old days, we've come a long way, baby. It's been a long year and so much has happened, and I can't wait to see what happens in the next year. So what you're going to see in the next year is actually different people rotating in to that facilitator position. There will be a different person heading up facilitation for each playground now. So those of you that are regular online participants, you're going to see some new faces in there. And you'll see different people taking on that role. One thing you're going to see up here starting today is we spent a year going out and talking to you about what AI could do. We spent a year inviting you in to listen to us talk about what AI can do. We spent a year putting the videos of these sessions online, and thousands of views have come in of people watching and seeing us, the Center for Online and Continuing Ed, talk about what AI can do. Well, now a year later, faculty, staff, and administrators have been doing things with AI. So in the next year, one thing you're going to see very often is we're now going to invite you to come and tell us what you've done with AI. We're going to move from the potential of what it can do to the kinetic of what you are doing with it. And that brings us to today's session. We're bringing in the Director of Research Computing, Ryan Resnick, and he's going to show you what he's been doing with AI and tell a little bit about what he does here, because I think that's also amazing. So without further ado, my good friend, Ryan Resnick.
Thank you, Willie. So I promise this is not about PowerPoint, but it's all about PowerPoint. So we will not be doing tons of PowerPoint slides. We'll be talking a lot. But we're going to talk about how Copilot and Gemini, and in OIT, specifically research computing, we push Copilot and Gemini. And we're going to talk about what you need to do to make a PowerPoint using Copilot. And so, and also this will then bridge into concepts like, how do you improve your course content with them? And we can touch on those if you ask me questions about it, like creating assignments, creating assessments, create rubrics. If you're as bad at making rubrics as I am, then you should be using AI to help you make your rubrics, because it will do things like tell you that your rubric stinks and this is how you need to fix it. But most importantly, it tells you this is how you need to fix it. Or in other words, you're missing this piece. But when you do that copy paste, you bring in the instructor notes, you bring in the script, you bring in all the content. If it happened to put an image in, you can do that. And by the way, Copilot will totally ask if it can add the image automatically. Don't do that. It will never work, at least today. Maybe in 3 months or tomorrow it will work, but for now I found it not to work well. So I don't do that. I copy and paste the images in. But it works really, really well. And you know what it does? It saves me a lot of time in terms of getting that initial presentation out. It doesn't mean that I'm not writing all those slides. Typically, I go through and rewrite almost every slide. But it solves the white page problem. And if you are stuck having to do original drafts of things, a lot of the time you sit there and you just go, I don't even know where to start. And it's going to help you get that starting point done. It's going to help you build out your framework. It's going to interact with you as you go back and forth trying to make it better. And so, yeah, we really like it. This is something that I'm actively doing, and I want to show you kind of how I do it. So, pilot.microsoft.com. Now, I do want to state a couple things. I do have the more intensive Copilot license. Everything I said can be done with the standard license, but it has some more limitations on what it will do. It will make fewer images per hour, per day. And it might not necessarily generate a PowerPoint file for you sometimes. I know the advanced one does, and I can paste that into PowerPoint. That was transformative. That was disruptive to my process. The fact that it gives me a PowerPoint is extremely less of a big deal. But let me go in here and I will grab one of my slides. And we're going to start with the NVIDIA Candy. And just paste that in there. And literally I wrote this on the fly. And I did redo it just before our presentation today to make sure that we would have it. Copilot.microsoft.com. Press enter. When it asks you to log in, click Work or Office account. Type in your FAU email address and press enter. Log in with your NetID and password, 2-factor, and you're in. It's that easy. And you can do that in Chrome, Safari, Edge, Firefox, whatever, it doesn't matter. But if you use Edge and you log into Edge, Copilot will show right up on the right-hand side and always be there for you. Start in the web browser, in the Copilot web interface, and work directly with it there. It will give you a much better experience. And then once you're comfortable and you're kind of used to using the word interface and stuff, you can take advantage of that. But it doesn't do necessarily all the things you want. Microsoft's vision of Copilot as it relates to Office 365 applications like Word, PowerPoint, and Excel is that it's a companion for you to get insight and details. So if you are writing a Word document, it might prompt you and say, hey, you seem to be talking about something that you've interacted with over email. Would you like to search your emails and go into detail on that type of thing? By the way, you see my anime witch. He's a guy. He's on the other side of the image. It's got NVIDIA candies, but it's different. Why is it different? I went to a different artist and I asked that different artist to create an image. So I got a different image. Because every time I start a new chat, I get a new artist. I have a new person who I'm working with. So don't expect AI to give you exactly the same words. But in essence, is it the same photo? Is it conveying the same message? And absolutely, it is totally conveying my Hansel Gretel poisoning children with NVIDIA candies message, okay? That was my goal. All right, so I'm going to jump in really quick, and I'm going to grab the prompt for creating an energy budget. You notice that this looks nothing like my previous slide, right? Because I have a different artist. All right, there's a new artist in town making it. So now I'm going to tell it that I want it to be Owsley. It's almost done. So this is the one that it made that didn't look the right way. And then there's the example. And then I said Owsley and said, hey, can you make it match the following photo? So I'll put that on my clipboard. And I didn't say add Owsley. Well, let's see what happens. We'll see if it does what I want it to do. You know, AI is really cool at what it's doing here. Thank you.